Okay everyone, today we're back again. Today I'm going to be working on another piece. This time I'm going to show you a little bit more about how to make edges in a painting by use of collage. And I'm going to try to contrast the background with the painting I'm making with a collage piece that I will attach to this as we go along here. So first I'm just adding some yellow acrylic paint to cover the surface, and not really giving too much thought here, just trying to cover the surface as quickly as I can. This piece won't be completely collage, it's just going to be one section, but you'll see it has kind of a big impact in comparison to the painting I'm doing. There's a couple of collage artists I really enjoy, and that's, of course, Henri Matisse, who kind of made collage something very special early 20th century. But I also love the current collage artists. My favorite right now is Wangechi Mutu from Kenya. You might take a look at her name if you're not familiar with her in the comments. And anyway, we will continue on here to the next part. This is dried just a bit. It's still slightly wet, but I'm going to drop some acrylic ink in here. This is just a brown on top of the yellow surface. And I'll use a brush here to kind of smooth out some of the thickness of it. I'm going to try to spread it out through the page. If you've seen some of my previous videos, I tend to work this way to start the image, using a spray bottle, of course, to kind of blend that out. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another piece of paper, the same size. This is watercolor, 140-pound cold press. I'm going to put this over top of the ink and acrylic, and I'm going to pull this off. This is going to leave kind of an impression. And here we go. I'll pull it off slowly. And we have that. So once again, it's another way to make texture. I'm going back in with the water bottle again. And while that dries, I'm going to show you a section of some papers. These are papers I made with rubbing alcohol and acrylic, dishwashing liquid and acrylic. This next one was an impression done with orange peels with acrylic paint. And this was also done with a mixture of pulling off and rubbing alcohol. So I like this piece. I think it's a good contrast for the yellow. It's more of a cool piece against the warm background. So I'm going to kind of estimate cutting this, and I'm going to use my pencil to make some marks to know where to cut at. And I'm going to bring a ground into this. That background with the yellow is more of a sky. And I'm going to make like a miniature small hill. So I'm just going to cut this free. Just using an X-Acto knife. Be careful if you're cutting with these. Anyway, so that's the ground. I've got that. And I'm going to take this and put this on top of the other. So you can already see a landscape starting to form. And what I like about it is the starkness of the edge. And an edge can give you a lot of interest for any piece you do with collage. I'm just going to glue this down and make sure I cover all the edges, since sometimes these can flip up if you don't get it all. So this piece is fully dry now, so I can paste right into this. And I will smooth that out as best I can. I'll probably put a book on top of this to make sure it really dries in a cohesive manner. Next, I'm going to stay with that blue or cool color approach, and I'm going to cut out a house, just a simple house. And you can see I'm drawing it here on the piece that had the orange peel print. I've covered orange peel prints in a previous video, Anything can be made from really a fruit to print. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife again and cut this house out. Okay, so I'm going to cut the edges carefully, and there's a little bit of red left on with the blue, which I'm not sure I'll keep or not when I put on top of the background. But I'm going to pop this out. And I save all my scraps. I never know when I'm going to use something like that again. Anyway, the house is going to fit about right there into the darkness of that brown. So it has some contrast so you can see the outline of the house. So once again, an edge. And edges, like I said, I've talked about in this video. Very important, especially when you're making collage. You want to be able to see your collage cutout after you place it. So I'm going to put it against that brown. That brown might be a little light. I might still get it a little darker after I paste down the house. And here we'll pop it in. And once again, I'm going to probably put a book on top of this to make sure it dries cohesively. Okay, here we are at the next part, and I'm going to, I feel like the ground is interfering just a bit with the house. So I'm going to bring a little bit of a light blue watercolor over top of the house I cut out. Whatever you place on a page, there's always going to be a reaction from the other parts of the page. To me, it's almost like a personality you're working with. I've got the yellow background, I've got the house, and I've got the ground. And they all have their own unique identity. So I'm trying to make them fit in a cohesive way. That's the reason I'm bringing this blue in, so I can kind of differentiate that house away from the ground, which resembles snow. Here's a previous piece I did last night. And these two trees are cut collage pieces, and they really look pretty compelling and strong in comparison to the background. So I wanted to show you that just to show you what's going to happen in this piece as well. And now I'm going to go back into, if you've noticed also, I've made the edges around the house of the brown a little darker with gouache. And here I'm bringing more gouache into the picture with the trees. And I feel like this is kind of maybe a late winter piece, maybe late February, early March. Definitely brings back childhood memories of growing up in the Midwest. There's always a late snow, generally in February. A lot of people make jokes around where I live. The boys' basketball sectional almost is always a time when we'll have a snow. That seems to be kind of true, actually. But anyway, for me, I just remember as a kid getting the sleds out and trying to find any kind of hill. Where I live is pretty flat, but there were some places we could find a sled. Of course, in February and March, people are getting kind of sick of winter and they're really ready for spring. But anyway, I thought this would be a good time to kind of present that whole idea of a late winter. And I always love the shape of trees. I love painting tree limbs. But I also love the summer. But each thing has a variety. And like I've said in previous videos, I really like the fact that there are 4 seasons where I live. Definitely helps with the landscapes I like to do. Okay, here's a close-up of the trees. And I'm also going to bring in some Prismacolor pencil, and this can kind of get me some smaller and thinner lines around the trees. And like I said, working with trees, it's always been a great way to show mark making, which is a passion of mine. I love mark making of any kind, even the smudges in the ground down there with the acrylic paint. That's something I really enjoy doing. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of window panes in those windows there with just a light gray Prismacolor. Okay, if you like the video today, please comment, please like, subscribe. I always appreciate any comments. Anyway, this is, I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to continue working on this. I'll show this finished piece probably in the next video. But I wanted to show you how I got it started. Anyway, I hope all of you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.